An Al Beadle-designed building is reborn as Federal Pizza from the team behind Postino. And can you believe this is an auto repair shop? Wait until you meet its owner. Plus, a new mixed-use development takes shape near Roosevelt Row in downtown Phoenix. The Building Phoenix show starts right now. Welcome to an all-new Building Phoenix show. I'm Michael Hammett. Well, one of our favorite things to do on this show is to share the stories of older buildings that have been put to new use by some pretty creative people. And this next building we're about to show you is so unique and special that it's featured in the city's Historic Preservation Office Midcentury Marvels book, and you are about to see why. In 1970, Phoenix architect Al Beadle helped usher in a new era for banking with his cool, open design of First Federal Savings and Loan on Central Avenue. The Beadle legacy has grown with each passing decade, and thanks to the guys behind the popular Postino Wine Café, the architect's original vision for this building will live on.
We care deeply about the historical and architectural relevance of these projects. Reusing what was existing and part of Al Beadle's master, vision, we're trying to preserve what was here.
The First Federal building is featured in the city's Mid-Century Marvels book as an important local example of new formalism architecture, inspired by the ideas of Frank Lloyd Wright and Ludwig Mies van der Rohe.
An 8,000 square foot steel and glass post and beam building, the original slab. Yes, nothing really on the exterior square footage was ever adjusted or changed, so it's a pretty neat project to work on.
DeMarco and his partners at Upward Projects start by finding a cool, underused building like this one, and let the building and the surrounding neighborhoods inform the kind of restaurants they will create.
It started in 2009 in the original Katz Deli. We have, where now Postino Central is. That was a 1950s office building. We went across the street and did a 1940 building for Windsor and Churn. We're over here working on this, and then just to the south is Aiello's, which is a Humpty Dumpty back in the day. And we're going to start working on that first of the year, and hopefully that'll be open in second or third quarter of 2013.
The neighbors wanted pizza, and the building agreed.
Federal Pizza with a tip of the hat to First Federal Savings and Loan. We've got this great drive-through teller lane, and we're going to turn into a to-go window for our pizzas. So you can call us, place your order, drive north on Central, pull right in, get your food, be back on Central, never get out of your car.
The design elements of it obviously were really exciting to us. We loved the floor-to-ceiling glass. We loved these kind of monolith concrete structures. In the beginning, we talked about putting the kitchen in the back, but we just couldn't compromise the view of the corner and end of Central Avenue. We don't really have a big storyboard or a really strong plan of how we do it. We really like to listen to the building and what the building dictates that it wants to be. We don't work with a designer. We sort of just figure it out on our way.
One cool thing Lauren figured out was how to repurpose cardboard shipping boxes into acoustical tiles.
We feel a huge responsibility for what we put in the trash in the landfills. So if there's a way to do something, especially do something cool with it, we're all about it.
The original concrete floors were ground down, polished, and stained, and original support beams continued to serve their purpose. But instead of hiding them from view, they were polished like heirloom silver and allowed to shine. But adapting older buildings like this one for new uses always comes with a few not-so-fun surprises.
Yeah, so with all these adaptive reuse projects, there's a discovery period, and we were doing some saw cutting into the concrete slab to do some underground plumbing. We ran into a 13-foot by 20-foot steel plate that sat under the original vault for security purposes, so you couldn't tunnel under and rob the bank. And we had to go to extreme measures to plasma cut out where we needed to. 7,000-pound wood-burning gas-assisted pizza oven, and we had to actually cut out a portion of the storefront to get in because it didn't fit through the regular door system.
The Upward Projects team worked with the Planning and Development Department to make sure their vision met city building codes and ordinances.
The city's been amazing, not only perpetuating the use of the adaptive reuse process, but actually being a liaison when you're in the process. And sometimes when you decide to take on these buildings, you really don't know what you're going to get. So when you kind of dig and you scratch the surface and there's a problem, the city's been there every time to help out, navigating through some of these issues that you may have structurally with fire prevention, all kinds of things.
But now that the heavy lifting is done, the team has the opportunity to see how their design works for the building and their customers. One bright spot is the exposition kitchen.
People love to see the action happening behind there and get a good glimpse into what happens in the back and how they make everything and put it together and get it to your table. Our Big Star pizza has been #1 so far, and that's got Shriner sausage on it, Molinari pepperoni, wood roasted onions, red peppers, kind of our everything pizza. That's been a big shining star. MJ designed our pizza dough recipe, so he's been here quite a bit and helped us. He's the youngest master baker in the country. He's an amazing person, and he did a great job with the dough, and we've had a really great response to it. People love our burrata that we make house-made, and we're also doing growlers and wine to go.
For the team at Upward Project, Federal Pizza represents so much more than just another job well done. It also represents another piece of our city's history saved from the landfill and put back into service for the residents of Phoenix.
There were actually a lot of interest, and our landlord told us that he had several people interested in taking it down and putting a drive-through here or something bigger, and we just feel really blessed to be able to have saved it.
Here on Roosevelt and 3rd Street in downtown Phoenix, a mixed-use project is transforming the area, and it's a real collaborative effort between the developer, the contractors, local business owners, and residents, as well as the city of Phoenix. Let's check in with two guys whose role on the project is to make sure it's safe, accessible, and comfortable for future residents.
We think that with the investment and development that the city has promulgated here downtown with ASU's downtown campus, with the biomedical campus immediately to the east and south of us, that has created additional demand for housing in downtown. And we think that aside from just student populations, professionals that work downtown, there's an opportunity to provide additional housing.
Roosevelt Point will offer more than 300 apartment homes for anyone looking to make the move to downtown Phoenix. And as with all development projects, this one created plenty of jobs.
Right now, at the phase we're at, we're just over 200, probably 225 folks on the site today. We started working with the folks in economic development. They've been very helpful for us in terms of not only navigating the organization of the city of Phoenix, but we had a lot of infrastructure issues that we needed to get resolved because of the fact that we're taking what previously was a lot of individual residential lots, doing a replat to make two buildable lots for the buildings that we have planned here. We had to relocate power lines, relocate sewer and water and gas. So there was a lot of utility infrastructure work that we needed help from the city. Mark Sipes is our team captain in planning and development, and I've met with him a number of times. We could not have made the progress we did without their help and cooperation.
Dan and Nick are two of the city's inspectors on site, making sure all construction meets requirements of the approved plans, ensuring the building is safe for future occupants.
Well, as a structural inspector, I kind of start beginning with from the ground up. You know, they start digging footings, caissons, which are long piers that they dig down into the earth. You know, normally the superintendents will call you out for a job meeting, go over what we need to look at, you know, how they want us to call the inspections. We work really closely with a special inspector who's out during all the concrete pours. So mostly at the stage they're at now, we've mostly been looking at the concrete in the walls and the floors prior to the concrete placement. Yeah, my role is, you know, first and foremost is to, you know, make sure that what's being constructed matches the approved plans. You know, typically we do that with working with the special inspector, the engineer. If we have any questions, you know, we'll have them contact the engineer to get clarification on something that doesn't seem like it quite works, because on a job like this, a lot of times you'll have situations that arise in the field that are a little different in the real world as opposed to the two-dimensional plan review.
Nick is one of the Planning and Development Department's plumbing and mechanical inspectors.
At day one, it's typically on the underground portion of the building. The underground sanitary sewer and the underground water main going to the building. But that doesn't tell the entire plumbing systems, waste, vents, water, any natural gas piping that might be involved. On the mechanical end of things, it's air conditioning, heating, ductwork. Everything that I look at has to be under test when I do my inspections. The waste and vent system filled with water, and the pressure test on the water piping. A lot of it's to ensure that we don't end up with mold, mildew, which has become a major issue these days. And on the mechanical system, it's comfort, heating, and especially here in Phoenix, air conditioning. There's an electrical inspector, dedicated electrical. Now there is an area where Dan and I do kind of overlap with our inspections, and that is for ADA, accessibility, whether it's accessible bathrooms, accessible means of egress, handrails, that kind of thing.
Each inspector is an expert in a specific area of construction, but they all work together as part of the same team.
It's important to kind of get along and be comfortable with the other inspectors and their knowledge. You know, like just speaking, not speaking for Nick, but you know, I know that the three of us have had lots of bigger jobs together, and there's a lot of times where I'll call Nick up if I've got a question about something in an area that overlaps, whether it be, you know, for ducts that are transferring through fire-rated floors. A lot of times I'll ask Nick for, well, how does this work to make the determination whether or not I need something required from the building code.
They are safety guys at heart, but always keep the customer top of mind.
You know, our job is, if we do see something that's wrong, to try to correct it, but you know, to try to do it in a way that it's not going to really, you know, slow things down, but to just make sure things are done right. I can say that there is a sense of pride, because it's everybody, I think, likes to believe that they're doing something that's you know, that's important and makes a difference. And you know, but you also you realize that you're just one piece of a puzzle. So, you know, to me, it's a sense of pride knowing that I'm helping, you know, the contractors meet the code, you know, the developer to get the building that they want in the safe building that they want, you know, within a reasonable amount of time without having to unduly slow things down.
Now let's take a quick look at some innovations and efficiencies that are making development in the city of Phoenix a whole lot easier.
We're excited about the 2012 codes because we need to keep up with technology, and the 2012 codes address a couple of things. They address new emerging technologies like solar photovoltaic systems. That's an evolving technology that's really taken hold in the Southwest here, and everyone's putting those systems in their homes and on their rooftops and in shade structures and things like that. So this code helps us with applying proper business standards, and it also very much helps with firefighter safety, especially the rooftop solars. The new codes address the separation requirements so the firefighters can actually get on the roof and ventilate the roof and fight those fires when they need to. The codes actually address life safety. So we have all kinds of codes that address the structure of a building so it doesn't fall down on you, the electrical installations so that you don't get shocked or it doesn't start a fire. It addresses the plumbing, mechanical, and ventilation systems so that you don't get carbon monoxide poisoning or other leakage and things like that. The exciting thing about these 2012 codes also is that they're getting more green, and they're picking up on the green and sustainability movement, and buildings built under this new 2012 code will now be 30% more energy efficient overall than buildings built under our old code. The self-certification program, as you know, allows certified design professionals to bypass our normal plan review and self-certify that the plans are code compliant. We give them a permit when they come in. They get a permit in 24 hours or the same day, and they can go start construction. To date, I think we're in the third year of the program, and we've had over 240 projects submitted in the program, over about 150 million valuations. So it's just really starting to pick up. Every time we expand it, it picks up more. We're getting more and more buildings coming in self-certified. The program's working very well. If you want a speedy permit, you're on a timeline, or you have financing deadlines, self-certification is the way to go if you need to get on deadlines and get that plan in and get your permit immediately. An electronic plan review is going to allow design professionals to submit their drawings electronically anytime they want, middle of the night, early morning, even when we're not open, and it will save them time and money for having to come downtown and park and bring those large plans in. The mayor and council have challenged us to work out a process where we will review all of our site plans, or at least 90% of our site plans, within 5 days or less. And it is a very challenging process, but we've been working through it, and we believe we have developed a good program. I will be presenting that to council in January or February, and we'll be rolling it out in the spring. The mayor and council are very serious about streamlining our building plan review processes and permitting processes to encourage job growth and to encourage people to come to the city of Phoenix, and so are we. We want people to build here too, and we want their business. So, it's always good to be challenged, to have somebody say something, hey, a year ago or 2 years ago, somebody said 5-day site plan review, we probably went, it's impossible. But once we get down and we start going through our processes and start figuring out how it really works and what we really need to do to make this work, it's doable.